Every time I start improving my life, I fall off again. If you're anything like me, you'll relate to what I'm about to say. How many times have you been consistent for about 3, 4 days, and then after that, you kind of start falling back into the same patterns of inconsistency, getting back into the bad habits? Probably most people watching this video, because that's just kind of how we are. And that's what's been going on with me. I haven't posted in a month, and the biggest reason is because I've been inconsistent. I believe in my last video, I mentioned that I don't post unless I'm being consistent or something. And who am I to teach somebody on consistency if I'm not being it myself? However, there's one thing I have that I believe I can teach, and that's the fact that I know how to restart and get back into it. And one thing we need to understand is that we have the idea of consistency all wrong. We think consistency is a streak of doing things. For example, 40 days of doing this, 10 days of doing this. That's not right. Because when we fail, we tell ourselves that we're back to day zero, which doesn't make any sense at all. If you're studying a language, for example, like I am, you've been studying it for, let's say, 20 days. You miss one day, and all of a sudden you're back to day zero? No, because you still remember what you've learned. If you go to the gym, and you've been lifting weights for a couple months, and you miss like a few days here and there, you're not at day zero because you've gained the muscle, you gained the experience. So this whole day zero thing only exists if you've never done something before. So we have to get that out of our minds. That's a huge reason why we're inconsistent, is because we feel down once we end the streak. We have this streak mindset where if we don't do it every single day, it puts a lot of pressure on us, and sometimes we just say, forget it, I'll just restart tomorrow. But the restarting isn't the day zero. Restarting is the restarting of your mind and your plan. And we need to have a plan. And this is the next point. When you decide to do something, there's a reason why you originally wanted to do it. And along the way, we forget why we even started. For example, going to the gym, let's say you wanted to start that because you wanted to look, you wanted to look better, you wanted to attract people, or just whatever. Eventually, you will not see the progress you want to see because we have a rapid mindset rather than a growth mindset. So you kind of stop doing it. Maybe you'll make an excuse and say, the gym isn't for me. I've heard so many people say, going to the gym isn't for me. I don't really believe that. The gym is for everybody. Everybody should be going to the gym, or at least being physical in some way. It's just lack of desire, laziness, or you kind of just forgot why you were starting in the first place. Because what do? We compare. You'll compare yourself to somebody else and see the out progress they've made, and you're nowhere near that. And I'm 100% guilty of this. When it comes to languages, when it comes to fitness, when it comes to a lot of things. Sometimes I'll see the other people that are so much further than me, and then I'll go back to myself and be like, I'm not working at all. And then it'll make myself depressed, and that will also lead to my inconsistency. So never compare yourself. And you've heard this before, but there's a reason it's always said, and it needs to be said over and over and over and over again. So what do I mean by resetting your mind? We need to understand that it's okay to restart. This whole idea of being disciplined means that you must do the same thing every day, even when you don't feel like it. It's a BS excuse because we're all humans. We all are going to have days where we don't want to do it. And yes, you should try to push yourself to do it, even if you don't feel like it. However, there needs to be some limits because it's not realistic. The only people who say these things are the people who have an entire day of basically just kind of not going to work. Let's say they have like a passive business, and people who are already rich. So they don't really understand the realistic aspect of it. For average people like probably you and me, who are just working full-time jobs and don't have these advantages, there is no just do it when you don't feel like it. A lot of times we have to do it when we feel like it. And the trick to building the consistency is not thinking with a strict mindset. Think about how much have you done recently. Take things by weeks and by months. Over the last 2 weeks, how many times have you worked out? How many times did you eat well? How many times did you study? Because if you study for 8 days and you skip one day, you're not at day zero because you just studied for 8 days. So the whole streak mindset is the number one thing people get wrong with this whole self-improvement industry. So we need to cut that out. And I also sometimes give into that as well. I have to remind myself. Now, talking more about restarting. For me, every single Sunday, I sometimes tend to restart my mindset and reset my brain. And what this means is that I look at what days do I fail the most. For me, it's usually like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because it's closer to the end of the week. And I can start off the week strong. And then after that, it's just kind of feels mundane and boring and, back to the same thing again. So I end up failing, getting into inconsistency, feeling bad about it, and then Sunday I have to restart again. And sometimes it can feel like a one step forward, two steps back thing, but that's not the whole point. The whole point of restarting and resetting is you're telling yourself that you're going to keep trying regardless. And that's really the whole thing to building consistency, is you literally just keep doing it, keep trying. And it sounds cliche, but that's the truth. It doesn't matter if you fail 3 times a week. If you keep trying, if you literally just don't quit, you're still going to see that progress. Yes, it'll take longer. Yes, we need to build discipline and, build more, willpower to resist certain things. But we're all humans and this can take years. Think about this. How old are you? Let's say you're 22 years old and for like 18 years you've been doing the same bad habit. Do you really think a couple of weeks is going to change that? No, because you're addicted to something. Drug addicts can take an entire lifetime to get over something. And it's the same thing here. If you're addicted to social media, you can't just cut it all off and then that's it. You have to slowly get rid of it. Look at your phone time. Do you spend 5 hours on it? Okay, spend 4 hours today for like a week or 2. And then next 2 weeks do 3, and then eventually you'll just get to this point where you no longer need it as much because you have less of it. Now you have days along the way where you get back into it, you had a bad day, you relapsed. Whatever, we're humans, okay? And this isn't an excuse to say, oh, I'm feeling bad today, so I might as well fail. No, but we have to understand the human aspect of self-improvement. I'm tired of these self-improvement content creators making you feel bad for making mistakes and feeling like a human. And that's just not how it's supposed to go. Self-improvement is a growth mindset, not a rapid mindset type of situation. And I'm guilty of this as well, but we always fall into the same trap of, I want it now, it's been 3 weeks, where's my progress? And this is exactly why we have a downfall over and over again. So implement the things I've said, which is stop thinking with a streak mindset, start thinking with a growth mindset. Know that it's okay to reset your brain. Let's say pick one day a week. I say Sunday because it's the beginning of a new week. Every single Sunday, think about how you were last week, your progress, your failures, and then journal it. What did you fail at? What did you struggle with? Why did you fail? And how do you plan to improve? And what are your plans after this? We have to do these self-evaluations. Why did I give in to something that I've been fighting hard to get rid of? It might not even be the fact that you're still addicted. That could be an issue, but if that's not it, what happened along the week? Or are you thinking about something in the future that hasn't even happened yet, which can make you maybe just kind of feel depressed? Because we kind of sometimes feel depressed about the future. A lot of us don't look forward to the future. So do that self-evaluation and think about it. Really think about, why do I continue to do the same things over and over? And we always focus on how many times we fail, but we never think about, myself included, what did we do before? And how have we changed? Because we've all changed. Even if you meditate for 1 minute a day, but you never did it before, you've still done something new. You know what I mean? You still added meditation. It doesn't matter. If you do something for 8 days and you skip 2, there is no day 0 because you just did 8 days of it. And this is something I'm telling myself. I really feel resetting your brain makes you feel motivated again. And you'll hear this whole thing about, oh, motivation is bullshit. It's all about discipline. No, that's fake. Motivation is a great feeling. It makes you want to do things. However, you shouldn't just rely on that, of course. So I hope you guys implement the things I've said and think about them, and let me know if they help you. Put down a comment or something like that, and just let me know how it went. These are things that I'm actively doing myself. I'm not going to tell you to do something that I'm not doing. That's the difference between me and these content creators. So anyways, Thank you guys for watching the video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. Watch out for the next video.